I'm here to tell you the #1 most important mathematical principle in all of business, and that principle is called the 80-20 rule. Now, the 80-20 rule has been around for a long time, and it's been proven a dozen times over in multiple business industries, in sociology, in economics, but it is incredibly powerful for entrepreneurs as well, and here's why. The principle states that if you look at the whole of something, 100%, it will largely break into two groups, an 80% group and a 20% group. And then each of those groups, the 80% group and the 20% group, will subdivide as wholes of their own into another 80% and another 20%. So basically that means that when you look at the whole of what you're trying to create, this principle applies to every part of your business, from marketing to product pricing to product development, even to solving your biggest problems. Because according to the 80-20 principle, 80% of your lost money is coming from 20% of the same issues. Think about that for a second. That means instead of focusing on every problem that you have in your business, you really only need to focus on the core 20% that create 80% of the problems. If you think about this in terms of business development, it means you only need to focus on the 20 clients or customers that drive 80% of your revenue. If you think about this in terms of product development, you only need to focus on the 20% of your products that drive 80% of your sales. You see how this works? It's an incredibly powerful tool, and I've seen it play out in my previous life as a CIA officer, as well as my current life as a business owner and entrepreneur. In fact, let me show you some of what it looks like for my business when I apply the 80-20 principle. Here in this graphic, I'm showing you the last 6 months of my online sales only, and you can see how 80% of my online sales are driven from 20% of my total products, and it's almost exact. I actually just pulled that report myself and was shocked to see how powerful that 80-20 was represented right here in my current sales. Now, I apply the 80-20 principle everywhere. I apply it to my marketing, I apply it to my sales, I apply it to my content development, I apply it to my client development. Let's talk about what this looks like in terms of content, because if you're like me, content drives your business. You have to create social media content, you have to create video content, you have to create marketing content, you have to create email content. According to the 80-20 principle, of all the content you ever create, 80% of it won't even be seen. Think about that. Of all the content you create, 80% of it will never be seen. Only 20% of it will. And then if you look at the 20% of content that is actually seen, 80% of that content will be seen and forgotten. The remaining 20% of it will be seen and remembered, really impactful. If you've been slaving away trying to create perfect content, if you've been poring over every word in your emails, if you've been writing scripts for your videos, if you've been painstakingly adding hashtags to every Instagram post or Facebook post, you're actually wasting your time. Because when you look at the mathematical truth behind the content you're developing, the fact is a very small portion of what you create will actually have the largest impact on your audience. So instead of trying to create perfect content, the goal is just to create a lot of content. Consider this example. If you create 100 pieces of content over the course of a year, 80 pieces of your content won't even be seen by the average person, which means only 20% will. So if we take that 20% graph and we break that into 80-20, it means 16 pieces of content that you create will be seen, but won't make much of an impact. And the remaining 4 pieces of content that you make will have the most impact. That means that of the 100 pieces of content that you create in a year, 4 pieces are going to drive the vast majority of your sales, your engagement, your growth, your revenue, and I have seen that play out in my own business as well. My name is Andrew Bustamante. I'm a former CIA intelligence officer and the owner of EVERYDAYSPY.com. I live in a very digital, content-driven business space. If you've ever taken the time to look me up online, you'll see exactly how true this 80-20 principle is. My most popular content, my viral content, is the first thing that you're going to see when you look me up online. But there's only a handful of pieces, maybe 6 pieces that have ever gone viral. But I've been creating content for the better part of the last 4 years. That means the vast majority of the content that I've created over the last 4 years, nobody has seen, and really nobody will ever see, because anyone who finds me and looks me up, anyone who discovers my company is going to see the same handful of viral pieces over and over again. I've already shown you how the 80-20 rule applies in real life to my own product sales. I've also been able to show you how the 80-20 rule in real life applies to my own content development. These rules apply to me and they apply to you too. The difference between a successful entrepreneur and a future failed entrepreneur is being able to internalize and accept the 80-20 principle as truth. Don't let yourself fall into the trap of trying to create the perfect thing, the perfect product, the perfect client, the perfect content, the perfect video. Instead, create more. Create a prolific amount of content, create incredible amounts of value, create tons of opportunity for yourself in the product and client space, because you have to gamble on the fact that eventually your 20% of success is going to rule out and your 80% of failures are going to fall away. That's just the way it works. CIA teaches every new intelligence officer to accept and become comfortable with failure, because CIA knows that failure is the road to success. In any intelligence operation, a field officer is going to run about an 80 to 90% fail rate. That means 9 out of every 10 people you meet are going to reject you, ignore you, or turn you into the authorities. It's only 1 out of every 10 people that a field officer meets that really has the potential of becoming a human intelligence source. CIA understands that out of 100% of all operations happening at any given time, they are largely going to break into 2 groups. 80% of those operations will fail, 20% of those operations will be a success. If you look at just the successful operations, CIA knows that of those 20% that are successful, about 16% will be nominally successful or minor successes, but 4% will be massive successes. The kind of successes that shape the future of geopolitics and ensure long-term American dominance. So for every operation out there that's a failure, CIA sees that as an investment in the future operation that will be a success. That principle has incredible power when you apply it to your business. It means every mistake you've ever made. It means every failure you've ever put out there. It means every time that you've said the wrong thing or failed on your pitch or tripped over your own words has been a road to a future success, because you cannot deny mathematics. You cannot ignore empirical evidence. And the 80-20 rule empirically states that of 100% of your attempts, 80% will fail, 20% will succeed. So you've got to keep swinging. You've got to keep trying. If there's anything I've learned from my success in the field with CIA and my success in the world of business, it's that you have to keep trying. You have to keep swinging, because your 20% success is just around the corner. But if you're counting your failures, make sure you're counting them for one reason and one reason only. You're counting them off because you know your success is coming. That's the 80-20 rule. Apply it to your business, have incredible success moving forward, and remember that your best 20% is still to come.